Welcome to all of you, whether you are, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. The next century is Africa's century, depending on how the youth can play their role and how they're supported to play their role. And so that's the big question. What is the youth's role in Africa's competitiveness globally? And then secondly, in the context of what has become a great power competition, apparently, that's shaping international dynamics, and this is particularly the US and China, what do they want on the continent? And again, how do African youth, who are the majority of the population, address these issues? And then finally, from the national development perspective, we have the report from the Ibrahim, and I would recommend you reading it. And it talks about what are the key challenges that the now generation sees for the African continent, and how can those be solved by the young people themselves, I would say, but also their national governments, so that in fact the continent is competitive internationally.
For me, I think it's very important that this emphasized focus on good governance in the continent, and there has to be practical measures that institute that aim to promote good governance, because this is the foundation, I believe, can prepare the ground for Africa to leverage on its youthful population.
I mean, unemployment is the biggest challenge. A lot has been said about it. We have made a lot of recommendations to governments. There has been some progress, but progress has been very slow. Now, what is the role of Africa's youth in solving a problem such as this? I know time immemorial, we have pointed out unemployment is a challenge. Government should do this, policy should do that. But if the barriers to unemployment are not being taken away, what are we, the youth, doing about it? Are we going to sit down and fold our shoulders? I feel like no. It's true, there are challenges, there are barriers. We are pointing to governments to solve that challenge. But we as African youth should also be creative. We should be innovative. We should think about what can we also do to help in the challenges and all that. And I believe that if we all come on board, then indeed we can solve some of the biggest challenges facing African youth, like unemployment.
I also feel that, over and above that responsibility, there also has to be a certain degree and level of accountability by the leaders of nations, and they should be able to provide, sort of the infrastructure for young people to build on these, whether it's ideas they have, and allow for their ingenuity and their innovativeness to sort of thrive. Yes, the responsibility aspect from a young people's perspective is very important, but also we have to be able to hold our governments to account and be able to just call on them, especially when we realize that we have challenges in transacting, and it makes it difficult to raise financing. It makes it difficult for people to work with you or trust you, especially when you are younger. You don't have the reputation. You don't have, the financial muscle that other players do have. So what you need is the goodwill and the support of your local governments to be able to then thrive in that situation.
I think it's important for people who do have the skills to spend some time within government, not necessarily your whole career, but to spend some time inside trying to make the changes from there and trying to get to understand what some of the bottlenecks are that governments face. And I think only once you're in it and you understand it can you start to solve some of those challenges. I think another thing that I think we have an amazing opportunity with right now is the use of the internet and social media. Now more than ever, it's easy for us to engage with different governments, show them what's been done in different places, and really tell government ultimately what people are demanding. I think a long time ago, it was really hard to do that, and it was either through the vote or through networks. And now with Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala at the helm, I think that more than ever, the Africa Group has an amazing one, advocate, but two, opportunity to be a bit more forceful about what Africa needs.
In addition to Ngozi, Africa has Tedros at the World Health Organization. It has Vera Songwe at the UN Economic Commission for Africa. It has Mokhtar Diop now at the International Finance Corporation. And then, of course, we have Kabaruka at the Global Fund. So really, I mean, if you just think about these international institutions, African advocates, people who have been really working for and on behalf of Africans for their entire lifetime are in key positions internationally that can be leveraged, like you said, Jacqueline. So I think that's really a great point, as well as getting the experience in government, because a lot of times when we're outside of government, we think government should be somehow efficient. And when you're inside the government, you know that it's just the everyday business of governments where people are competing on interests and policies, and it just doesn't get done fast.
As I was preparing for this meeting, I was asking myself, what do we want? Which kind of Africa do we want? Want one that copies or one that innovates? I mean, China's success is based mainly on copying, doing what other people have been doing and doing it cheaper. They were able to dominate the world with their strategy. The United States, Japan, and South Korea have been great innovators. Now it is up to us to ask ourselves, which road do we want to take? The shortcut, as you said it earlier in your introduction, by 2100 will be the continent with the most young people in the world. And we can decide to copy other countries. We can decide to be the manufacturer of the world. That's an option. The other option could be we decide to innovate, therefore we put more and more investment in young people.
We need to get over this cultural hump of really thinking that young people are not capable and able, because there are a lot of spheres where young people are not even able to get into their room, and they're therefore not able to express themselves. So I think there needs to be a culture shift where people are really given the power and the voice to actually make decisions and fail if they might, but at least give young people a chance.